Obviously, newsjacking and trendjacking is something which is more real-time content creation. A lot of brands have been using things like that happen on a current basis. For example, the haze in Singapore would be one topic where brands could jump on, or example, the Super Bowl thing that everybody knows about, or the entire content publishing that Oreo does around real-time content. And so this is a very tricky, definitely a tricky piece. Not all brands are equipped well enough to do this, but I think it's an area of opportunity for brands like Intel. We have made small strides in this. So for example, we did stuff around the Hadouken meme that was going around, and so we had some Intel employees at an exhibition do something around that. We had the Harlem Shake, and Intel was one of the few brands that did the Harlem Shake and was successful at it. And so we've done things like that in the past, but you need to have a strong editorial team, you need to have a strong legal backing as well, and you need to have a real-time creative team doing this. And you could get it wrong, and a lot of brands have got it wrong and have faced the consequences. If there are 10 pieces of content that we do around newsjacking, we've may have tried 100 times doing that. So not everything that we do gets published, because sometimes we pull out thinking that this may not work, and so it's a trial and error, but we have to be very careful because the brand's reputation is dependent on that. But I do believe that's a great opportunity for social marketers. There are certain markets that are highly sensitive. The expectations of brands are very high, and so you can get into trouble, especially if these matters are political or religious in nature. So we typically stay out of that. Each culture interprets things differently, and when we create content, we get our local teams who are people from that region to actually vet the content and see if there are any regional or local sensitivities that we need to take care about. And so it's far more complex than maybe doing content for US or Europe. When we do regional content for Asia Pacific, we need to make sure that it does not offend any specific culture, and we try to stay off topics like government and politics and religion. And so yes, you're absolutely right, it is a fine balance, and you've got to do the due diligence with your legal teams, your local teams as well.
So if you have to do due diligence, how do you make it like real time?
Exactly, so like I said before, is that at every 10 attempts you'll get probably one attempt right, and you'll pull back on 9 times. But you need to keep doing this and you'll get better at it. So not everything will come through. You will have some content that you feel at the last minute because of some reason you want to pull out, and so it's definitely a trial and error, and you have to be 100% sure that you're not risking your brand reputation while doing this. But if you get it right, the rewards are pretty huge for a brand. Yeah, that's a great question. So what we do is that we have certain platforms that we monitor. So BuzzFeed is a great example of a platform that gives you real-time trends, what's trending on YouTube as a video. So there are different platforms we have a look at, and we have the community management agencies, creative agencies looking at it. They have the go-ahead to come back to Intel anytime they feel that there's an opportunity for us. And then we group together in a couple of hours, get the legal guys involved, and make sure that we get a content that's worthy of our audiences and our community.
And finally, what is the ROI for doing, newsjacking or going into exploring that?
Great question again. So definitely from a reach perspective, you do reach out to a larger audiences, because at the end of the day you're riding on a wave that's already existing, but you got to do it in an authentic and a very creative way, because it cannot be a cheap ride, and the consumer should not look at it that way, because otherwise they will call you out, and it won't be good for your brand. It probably have negative impact. So it's that fine balance, and there is a very tight spot in which you fit in, and you got to get it right every time.